Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Test, test. Good morning, everybody. I think we have everybody seated, and welcome. And we did have a new person over here, but she disappeared again. So, she's over there. She's getting some coffee. Okay. Lodo. Hi, Lodo. She's, uh, she's come back. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living in Visalia. And we're going to have some great music for you and some inspiring words to start your week off. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce Reverend Donna Baranyay for our opening prayer.
Good morning, everybody. What a beautiful day it is today. Let us start with prayer, just anchoring into that knowingness and centering ourselves in this moment, recognizing there is that light of love that is guiding this time together today, that each one of us are called here by divine appointment, and giving thanks for this time together. We know it is blessed, and so it is. And now let us enjoy our opening song, Make Your Own Kind of Music. What a perfect title for today.
Nobody can tell ya there's only one song worth singing. They may try to sell ya, 'cause it hangs them up to see someone like you. But you gotta make your own kind of music, sing your own special song, make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along. You're gonna be knowing the loneliest kind of lonely. It may be rough going just to do the things, the hardest thing to do. But you gotta make your own kind of music, sing your own special song, make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along. So if you cannot take my hand, and if you must be going, I will understand. And when you gotta make your own kind of music, sing your own special song, make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along. You gotta make your own kind of music, sing your own special song, make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along.
Good morning. Can you hear me? That's the first thing. Yes? Good. Okay. My name's Bonnie Carlia, and I'm a member of the diversity and inclusivity team here. And we give a quote every week. And this week, it's my turn. So, as an introduction, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. lived an extraordinary life. At 33, he was pressing the case of civil rights with President John F. Kennedy. At 34, he galvanized the nation with his I Have a Dream speech. At 35, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. At 39, he was assassinated, but he left a legacy of hope and inspiration that continues to this day. Now, for today's quote, the team has chosen the following from Dr. King. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Thank you.
And our weekly affirmation today is, and I love this one, so I'm hoping you'll write it down and take it with you. On this new day, I believe that anything is possible. And now let us turn within in prayer and treatment, recognizing and knowing that there's that higher idea that unfolds. It is that divine presence that we know as God, that we call it light, that we call it love and peace and beauty and joy, wholeness, infinite intelligence. All these words and more describe an essence of love and of light, of energy that we know as God. And that as I recognize and know that I am one in God, I know this is the truth of each and every one of us, that we hold in our space today, those who are not here in form, in presence, but we are thinking of them in this moment. And we recognize and know that this time together is blessed because this is a new day. It is a new opportunity to see things anew. And in that space and in that moment, we love. We open our hearts to the love that is present, the love that Dr. Martin Luther King talked of, that we open our hearts to feel and sense and know the divine in a greater way, in a way that we can identify with within and say, oh, this is the divine presence within me. This is the love within me, and touch that space within. We may feel it in our heart space. We may feel it other places within, but I recognize and know that I see through the eyes of spirit in this moment, that I listen with the ears of spirit. I speak with the voice of spirit. And that is the truth of who each and every one of us are. And giving thanks for this service today, giving thanks for those who are bringing it to its fruition, our musicians, our amazing AV team with James and Donna O. That we recognize and know that there are many behind the scenes that bring this service to its present place in this moment. And this is a new opportunity to say thank you. With a grateful heart, I release my word into the law, knowing it is done. I let it be, and so it is. And now let us enjoy our congregational song, All That I Need.
All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. Light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. I've been set free, I'm released. I've been set free, I'm released.
Good morning. What a beautiful day we've had so far. And I just love the music that we've had this morning. I'm loving the ideas of the new day, which is the talk title today, and what that means for each of us. We're in a brand new baby year. We're in the second Sunday of January. And I've already experienced a birthday, and I'm so grateful I got to spend it with some of you over Zoom. And what a gift that was, because, when we talk about our trips around the sun, which is how some of us refer to our birthdays, and this is my 54th trip around the sun, and I'm excited for it. And I'm wondering what's next. I was reminded of that saying, are we living the same year 7 years in a row, or are we living a new year each time? And that made me think about my birthday, because I think I might have shared before that I was 53 for 2 years in a row because I did the math wrong. And it kind of felt like I did the same thing for 2 years in a row, and it wasn't even COVID time. And I think that's an invitation to see the maybe the funny in that, or the humor, or even the revelation of, oh, this is something in my consciousness I can take a look at. Maybe I'm just so used to doing things the same way over and over because it's always worked. Or I've always taken the same route to work because it's always worked. And then when we change it up, it can feel a little uncomfortable, can it? I know for me, sometimes I'll think, oh, I'm going to try a different way home. Maybe it will take less time to get home, or I'm going to stop at this market, so it's going to be a little different way that I get home. And it feels a little uncomfortable because I'm out of that routine. And I think for some of us, we may find that is that the way we look at our spirituality. We've always done the same things. We get up, maybe we do our treatment work or meditation or read from our daily guide. I like to change it up. So sometimes I'll pick up my Science of Mind magazine first thing in the morning. I have a copy in my purse, so I might take it out at lunchtime, or I might feel like before I go to bed, I want to read a daily guide or read something that's spiritually nourishing for me. So I try to change it up. But oftentimes I'll find that I'll fall back into that routine of when I've always done it for whatever the reason. So I'm going to invite you to think about that yourself. Are there things that you've been doing kind of just out of routine, because that's just the way it's always been done? And invite yourself to maybe look at it with curiosity, or with a sense of, oh, how can I think outside the box? Or as some people say, get rid of the box. For me, spirit is always coming forth in a different way. We see it in the different people that we connect with, or maybe we discover a new author and we're reading up on their writings. I was recently reintroduced to Yogananda's work, so I picked up one of his books earlier this week, and I was doing some reading in it, and he was talking about life's challenges and seeing them in a different light, in a different way. And so while it was the same message, it was written a little differently because it was a different author. And that is another reminder that the messages that are coming through for me in this new day are coming through in different avenues, but we must be open and receptive to that. When we think about, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, I heard a lot of, and I still do, is what's the worst thing that can happen when we're talking about making changes? But what if we shifted that vocabulary to what is the best thing that could happen? What is the amazing thing that spirit can bring forth in our life? And put our attention on that instead of what the negative might be. And many of us might have been introduced or taught, whether it was implied or specifically of, but if you look for the things that are that common denominator in the negative, you won't be surprised. Well, I'm going to invite us to be surprised in a positive way with what is the greatest thing that can happen. When I put out that request on the listserv to guest speak, I did not know what was going to happen from that. I had no idea. I just knew I felt called to share with other centers. And that's how I was led to you and to this beautiful center that I'm so grateful to be a part of. We just never know what could happen when we put out our intentions, or what it is that we want to experience. We have an invitation for a new day every day, because day becomes night, that becomes a brand new day. We can always make a shift in our consciousness at any time. Many of us wait for landmarks like, oh, I'll start next, or I'll start next year. But every day, every minute is an invitation to start anew. And when we're looking at these new opportunities, or these new ways of thinking, or these new ways of engaging in life, there are spiritual tools that we can use. There are what we might call non-spiritual tools, but I do believe they're still steeped in spirituality, like networking, connecting with others of like mind, of finding that invitation to truly be who we're meant to be. And how is that showing up in our world? When I say it's a new day, it's a new opportunity. I love the song this morning, All I Need. All that I need is available. All that I need is there. But I must be open and receptive to accepting that gift, and to be present to that in this moment. When I'm present and not thinking about what is, on my to-do list for the next hour, the next day, or whatever it might be, if I'm truly present right now, like Eckhart Tolle teaches, that gives me an opportunity to feel around me, feel the love that's around me, feel the peace that's around me, to feel whatever's going on and connect. Maybe it's to meet somebody new. I like to talk to people, and every once in a while when someone's walking by, I'll make a comment if they have a pretty scarf, or if they have a fur baby, I want to pet the fur baby. I always ask first, and it gives me an invitation to meet somebody new. And many times I'll walk away with an extra big smile, because I'm like, oh, that was really cool. That person made my day. In fact, that happened to me the other day. I was at Starbucks just for a quick moment, and there's a gentleman there having a cup of coffee and a grilled cheese. And I admit, I've always wondered what their grilled cheese tasted like. So I asked him, because I didn't necessarily want to buy it until I tried it. And he said, oh my gosh, it is the best. He said, I come in here, today's just a little bit of quiet time for me, and I'm enjoying my cup of coffee and my grilled cheese. And we talked for just a few moments, and then I had to leave. I got a phone call. But that was a moment that I hadn't planned on or expected. It just was an invitation to say hello. And he responded back, and we both left smiling. And how many times have we done that in our life? Had that invitation to truly be vulnerable enough to introduce ourselves to a stranger, or to say hello. Or maybe to say we want to try something new. Maybe there's a job opportunity that we're looking at, and we're like, I don't know if I'm qualified. I don't know. Go for it. It's always a no if you don't apply, right? Or you don't ask. It's always an automatic no. But if you step forward and present yourself and do your best, there's either a possibility of a yes, not yet, or a no. We never know unless we have that courage to step into it. Eric Thomas from the chat this morning, the quote from this morning from the chat, one of them was from Eric Thomas he says, it's not who you are that holds you back, it's who you think you're not. So instead of looking at what we're not, let's look at what we are. And by the way, thank you, John, for leading the chat today. I know Janice isn't feeling well, and I'm very grateful that you stepped up and led the chat. I know everybody was loved having that opportunity to interact and to say yes to doing something a little differently today. But truly, it's not who we are that holds us back. It's what we're afraid of. If we were to be willing to step out into this greater yet to be, to this new gift, this new opportunity based on the foundation of what you've already created. I was talking with a friend yesterday. We met for lunch, and we've known each other over 20 years. And I said, I'm not the person I was 20 years ago when we met. You're not the same person that you were 20 years ago. We're not the same people that we were last month or last year. And yet we have evolved and shifted and changed, and our friendship has also grown and evolved in that same moment. And what a gift that is to have those conversations with people who've known us for many years or even just 5 minutes ago, because we're not the same people. We are continually evolving and shifting and changing. We might take a new idea or have a different view of what we see the world is like. Those are our gifts and our opportunities to recognize the new dawn, the new day. When I started in Science of Mind 30 some years ago, I was not the same person I am now. I was green. I had no idea what metaphysics was. I didn't understand that it was talking about the everyday moments. Many Science of Mind churches in January go back to basics, we call it, which is talking about the basics of Science of Mind teachings, and they base it on the first 4 chapters of the text. This week is the second week, so we would be talking about the way it works. And I felt that by bringing a little bit of that in today, it encourages us to see well, we might not be officially focusing on the first 4 chapters of the Science of Mind text. We're still living them and we're teaching them. In the way it works, Ernest Holmes says, this original life is infinite. He says, we have misused this highest power that we possess when we don't recognize that highest truth. So maybe that's where we're thinking what maybe we're not good at, or that we're less than, or the divine is more important in someone else, whatever thoughts we might be having right now. He also teaches that spirit works for us by working through us. And these are some of the titles in that chapter. He says, I'm going to quote him on this part. He says, the thing, which is spirit, then works for us by working through us and is us always. It cannot work for us in any other way. It spreads itself over the whole universe and shouts at us from every angle, but it can become to us only when we recognize it as that power within us. He goes on to say, therefore, our belief sets the limit to our demonstration of a principle which of itself is without limit. It is ready to fill everything because it is infinite. So it is not a question of its willingness nor of its ability. It is entirely a question of our own receptivity. We must be receptive to this higher power that is expressing itself through us, through in and as us in this moment. There is no separation in spirit. We call it an energy rather than a person because it's this essence of life that works through all of us in everyday moments, not just when we're in meditation or walking through a joyous time or a difficult time. It's always present, but we must be receptive. Ernest Holmes also says, and this is a quote from your chat this morning, spiritual evolution should make the infinite not more distant, but more intimate. Now, I'm going to ask you to look at the word intimate a little different. If you use the word intimacy, into me I see. Into me I see. So in other words, that's another invitation to turn within, to that intimate place within, to get to know us, who we are from that spiritual place of that greater yet to be, and utilizing it in your everyday experiences. Do a trial run, test out a hypothesis. I think that is one of the biggest gifts that metaphysics gives us. It's that invitation to work anew, to believe anew. But if there's something that isn't jiving with us or connecting with us, it's okay to put it aside and not utilize it. And that's one of the beauties of metaphysics for me, especially when I first came into this tradition so many years ago, because I was questioning everything. I was trying to figure out what was up, what was down, what was true, what was not in my own life spiritually. And by having that invitation from the pulpit with the minister saying, if it doesn't work for you, that's okay, something else will. Put it aside, continue on your journey. One of the biggest invitations to get to know me and what I believed. And that's the invitation for all of us as we are beginning this new day of maybe refiguring out who we are. It's that invitation to truly be honest and vulnerable with ourselves. Ernest Holmes also says, never limit your view of life by any past experience. How many of us maybe have thought, well, it was this way before, so it's going to be this way again, or it's going to be worse this time. I'm inviting us to shift our consciousness and maybe our thought process to what amazing thing can happen today. What amazing gift can unfold for us in this day. For those of us who chose a word for the year, mine is purpose. I have since added 2 more words to it because I feel they fit. It's purpose, curiosity, and opportunity. And we always have that opportunity to recreate ourselves. We always have that opportunity to take a look at things. But I don't know about you, but I tend to do it looking back. It's like, if you've ever heard the term the Monday morning quarterback, I use that a lot in grief work because we start looking over things that have been going on in our life. But I'm going to invite us to look at it a little bit in spirituality, where we might not have understood why certain things happened. Why did this have to happen? Why didn't this work out? And then when we kind of look at it in review, we start to see where things came together and what those connections were. Steve Jobs, he said, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect with your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down and has made all the difference in my life. I would include spirit, where he talks about your gut, destiny, life, karma, life and spirit. There's a trust there that we don't always understand what's happening in the moment, but we trust that we will. So when we look back at to where we've come from, that foundation, we're now continuing to grow and evolve and become more of who we are. But by looking backwards, we can sometimes go, that's why that happened. Or, oh, that's why that didn't happen. Sometimes when I'm running late for something, I'm like, And Joel Osteen says that sometimes that's God keeping you safe. He kept you from an accident, or he kept you from some other calamity or something that was going on, or you needed to be there 10 minutes later because this person you were meant to talk to would have been gone, or wouldn't have arrived before you left. Whatever it is, sometimes there's an invitation to trust the process, trust what's happening in our world. And that's the invitation. That's the invitation to experience life and to rise up even when we think things aren't working the way we had planned. Emerson says our greatest glory is not in never failing, but in rising up every time we do. And how, I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm afraid to take that next step because I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid it won't work out. But what if it's working out for our greatest good and we didn't realize it? We had no idea. That's the invitation that we have in this moment. There's the Buddhist story about the farmer who had one horse and he had a son, and the horse ran away. And the villagers were like, oh, what are you going to do? How are you going to harvest your crops? You don't have a horse and you don't know what are you going to do? Oh my goodness, the sky is falling. And the farmer says, maybe good, maybe bad, who knows? And then all of a sudden that horse comes back with all these wild horses. And now the villagers are like, oh, this is the best thing ever. You have all these free horses, they can help you. And he's like, maybe so, maybe not, who knows? And then as his son is trying to break in the horses and train them, he falls and he breaks his leg. And now the villagers are like, oh, this is awful. This is terrible. Your son, he can't help you. What are you going to do? And the farmer just says the same thing. Maybe so, maybe not. Who knows? And then a few weeks later, his son's leg is in a cast. He can't do anything. And now the country's at war. And in the kingdom, the king has sent people out to gather all of the young men to go to battle. And they get to the farmer's house and son is in a cast. Well, they can't take him because he can't ride a horse and he can't go to battle. And he's like, oh, your son has been spared war. How wonderful. And again, the farmer says, maybe so, maybe not. In other words, we don't necessarily know what is going to come forth from this experience. But if we can sit in the place of anticipation, of curiosity, and of great joy, who knows what can happen from that place? So that's the invitation this week, is to go out into our world and to see through the eyes of spirit, see through the eyes of the divine. Or if there's something going on in your life that you're not sure about, see through the eyes of the divine for maybe just a split second, or just a moment, because it's in those moments that we feel and sense the divine. There is a quote going around on Facebook. You might have heard it. It's about glimmers. And it says, start paying attention to your glimmers. They are the opposite of triggers. They're those little moments of peace or joy that allow our nervous system to feel safe and connected. For when you start looking for them, you'll start to find them everywhere. We're so quick to say, oh, that triggered me, or that caused me to be bothered by something, or this triggered a memory from the past. But what if we were to look for the glimmers? So I did a little research, and there's an article in the health and wellness section of the USA Today newspaper, and it's from the March 2022 edition. It's written by an LCSW by the name of Donna. She says, triggers have become a commonplace term in our culture. But she's inviting us to understand the opposite of that, which are glimmers. And she apparently coined this term. She says, glimmers refers to the small moments when our biology is in a place of connection or regulation, which cues our nervous system to feel safe or calm. So she says, we're not talking about great, big, expansive experiences of joy or safety or connection. She calls them micro moments that begin to shape our system in a very gentle way. So it's kind of like in meditation, you might feel those glimmers, those moments of connection with the divine, or those moments of peace before that anxious thought goes through your mind, or you think about your to-do list, or whatever's going on, or I have to call Aunt Sally, it's her birthday. But there's those moments, those micro moments of connection with spirit. So when we can think of the glimmers in our life and maybe look for them, those micro moments might come more often. The examples she gave, and I'm going to ask you to think of your own examples, are in nature, admiring your garden or seeing the stars in the sky, or noticing a stranger's smile or the warmth of a loved one's voice, feeling comforted by your furry friends. I love my furry friends, those animal companions. Unexpected church bells or your favorite song playing on the radio. That's kind of fun, isn't it? When all of a sudden, or for me lately, when I go into the grocery store, oh, they're playing my favorite song from the 80s. I know at that point I've reached a new level in my evolution, when my favorite music from the 80s is now playing at the grocery store, but it brings a smile to my face because, well, I'm going through the mundane routine things of picking up groceries or getting that gallon of milk or whatever it is I need. I can take a moment and listen to some music that always opens my heart. That's another invitation to experience that. So if we can take a look at those glimmers in our world, instead of the triggers, wonder if we would maybe attract more glimmers. Because what we think about comes about, right? Where our attention flows, energy goes. And if we think of the vibration of energy, what is that vibration that we want to experience? Is it a vibration of abundance, of prosperity, of health, of joy, of wholeness, of seeing the divine in one another? That's always my gift at the end of the day. How many people did I connect with energetically that I could see and sense the divine in them? We maybe did not say a single word to each other, but I went, they are a child of God. They are just made of the same essence of who I am and what I am. Probably my biggest aha moment was when I was in Zion. I'd driven myself to Utah to travel, to go to a couple of national parks. It was many summers ago. It was the middle of summer, hot as blazes. Never forget that. but I was driving through Zion and I was like, oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. And then I decided instead of driving through Zion and driving back to my hotel in St. George, I decided to turn around and go back through the park the other direction. I went, I want a little more of the park. And that's when I had my aha moment. I was driving back and I just saw these mountains in this different way than I had seen it through all the time I'd spent in Zion up until that moment. And it was a God moment. It was a split second, but everything was silent, everything was quiet, and I could just feel the oneness. And all I could think of was this amazing energy, this amazing thing we call God or spirit that created this beautiful mountain, created me. It created all of us. That was a moment of like melding energies. And I'll never forget that powerful energy. All it felt like was love, was love. I'm going to end with a quote from Steve Jobs, another one. I really liked what he had to say at the end of his life. He says, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most importantly, have the courage to follow your heart and your intuition. So that's the invitation we have, is to follow our own voice, follow that intuition, because that is the still small voice within that's guiding and directing us in every moment. We may feel like we're figuring out where we're going. We may feel rudderless or trying to figure out what's next for us. But in that moment, you'll hear your own inner voice guiding and directing you. That is spirit. That is the divine expressing itself. So the way it works, the way the divine works is through and as us. There is an infinite law that works for everybody. That is the impersonal side of God. The personal side of God is the love that we are. That's the way it works. That seed of perfection is hidden within each and every one of us. May we tap into it. May we feel it. May we know it. May we share it with one another. I invite us to turn within in prayer, recognizing this new day, recognizing the divine that's expressing itself in this moment, recognizing that infinite presence that we know is God, that infinite wisdom that we know is the divine. May we recognize and see and sense and know that there is direction. There is a place of spirit that is guiding and directing in every moment. That in the newness of now, in this foundation that we have created and from which we grow from, heal from, evolve from, create new beginnings, new life, new joys together and apart, and coming together to share those joys. That's the beauty of life and of coming together on Sundays to share what we may have experienced in the week prior, and looking forward to what's coming next to share the following week. That's the gift of what we believe and teach and know. That foundation is love. That foundation is the beginningness, the creativity, the co-creation with a higher idea that's always unfolding. And I trust that that higher idea is expressing itself with ease and with grace and in a way that we can answer the call. I give thanks for this time this morning, and I give thanks for recognizing the beauty all around and within us. And in this space, I hold all of those who we may be praying for, or we may be walking through a difficult time right now. I honor you. I recognize and I know the divine is in the midst of each of those experiences, guiding and directing and bringing those to provide care and support present. Because we're all here by divine appointment. We've answered the call. I say thank you, sweet spirit, as I know this time together is blessed. I release my word into the law. Where I know it is done, I let it be, and so it is. And now we get to enjoy a beautiful song that is one of my favorites, Love is My Decision. Enjoy.
Is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. And love is my decision. My decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to walk on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. And maybe if I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. And love is my decision. My decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. And love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. And love is my decision. My decision right here and now. Love is my decision. No one else can dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. My decision right here and now.
Thank you so much. Daniel Nahmon's music is always so touching. It's heart opening. It is now time for our giving, our conscious giving. So I invite you to take your gift and bless it to you privately as we say our affirmation together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prospered. Thank you, God. And please remember, you can donate through our website, mailing it into the church, or on Sunday mornings. Let us bless our gifts. Thank you, Stan, for hosting today. Let us bless these gifts as we bless the giver and the receiver, recognizing and knowing He is calling forth to do the great work of Spirit out in the world, that we recognize and know the divine law of giving and receiving, and revealing that highest truth of knowing that these gifts are blessed, and so it is. It's now time for our peace song. which I think is a really important time for us to come together and recognize the peace that is there. When we see the peace, we will call forth greater peace. And I love seeing everybody getting in the circle. That's so much fun. So thank you, James, for showing that. There's so many people. I love this. Come together, church.
There's peace on earth. I know it begins with me. Now there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all our ways. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every breath I take, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. And life is in all of my affairs. I think it. I feel it. And I love it. Just the way that it is. And just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Have a blessed Sunday. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing church. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Many blessings and much love.